Alliance here, bringing you the benefit and today we're going to be talking about my Metalfoes deck profile. We're going to do basically what I just said, a deck profile of Metalfoes, and it's I like this build. I'm not sure if it's the most perfect version of Metalfoes, but we will definitely see. I do like Metalfoes a lot. I played it when they were at their peak way back 2 years ago, and it was a really fun deck. It's one of my favorite Pendulum decks ever. So let's just jump right into it. So the first you're playing 3 Volflame, 2 Qliphort Scout, or 1 Qliphort Scout, 1 Monolith, 3 Goldriver, 3 Silverd, 3 Steelren, 2 Astrograph, 3 Chronograph, 1 Damage Juggler, 3 Rescue Rabbit, 2 Archfiend Eccentric, and 3 Bismugear. So you got to play 3 of each of the Metalfoes monsters, mainly because they're the heart and soul of the deck. Bismugear, when it's destroyed at the end of the turn, it searches a Metalfoes card, or Metalfoes monster, not card, sorry, that's totally different. They all have the same popping ability where they target a card on the field and pop it, which is really insane, because it also synergizes with Astrograph and Chronograph, because they could just special summon each other from the hand based on the monster that was destroyed. This is to make Cyber Dragon Infinity. You set this card, you want to open up with Qliphort Scout, so that way you can set Qliphort Scout on your scale. You want to open up with another Metalfoes monster as well. Set Qliphort Scout, activate Qliphort Scout's effect to search out the monolith, then pop the scouts, sending it to the extra deck to search or to set a Metalfoes Volflame. It really doesn't matter which one, preferably this card or counter, but and then you hopefully have another scale in your hand, so you can pendulum summon both the monolith that's in your hand and this card that's in the extra deck to make Cyber Dragon Infinity. It's a really easy combo. It's a really simple combo. It's a very powerful combo still. So I do think it's worth your time. Ideally, if you open up with this card plus 4 Metalfoes monsters, I think that's the best ideal, because that means you can go straight, or Rescue Rabbit. You can just normal summon the Rescue Rabbit and just go straight into Heavymetalfoes Electrumite. You have a much more powerful board. And this engine, I think, it only got better because of Electrumite being in existence. So you play Damage Juggler because he's actually a really good one-up. You side him out most games 2 or 3, unless you're playing against Dracossack. I think against Dracossack, this card is really good. So yeah, 3 Rescue Rabbit because this card is a 1-card Electrumite. So Archfiend Eccentric because it's just good spot removal, and you play these cards because they synergize well with the pop effect. You pop any monster, you special summon Astrograph or Chronograph. This card is really good because these cards right here make rank 7s. This card makes Norito, and Norito is really strong. So onto the spells. 1 Monster Reborn, 3 Potted Desires, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Metalfoes Fusion, 2 Summon Desert, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Fullmetalfoes Fusion. The reason why you only play, and I'm going to rack this up with 1 Metalfoes Counter, 1 Combination. The reason why you play only 1 copy of each of these is because it's the most consistent version. You have ways of recouping these cards anyway, so having multiples is really redundant. You only really need 1 Metalfoes Fusion, because Metalfoes Fusion automatically recurs itself by putting it back to the deck and then you draw a card. So this card's really cool. You play Dark Hole, Raigeki, and Monster Reborn because they're really good cards. Potted Desires is a really good card. You really don't care about what cards you get banished. This card gets banished, it really doesn't matter. If any cards in this version get banished, it really doesn't matter. This deck is a really flexible deck to kind of work with Potted Desires. Combination is really good. If you see true Draco versions, you'll probably see this card played at 2, because of the fact that when you pop it, you search out a Metalfoes card, and its first effect does come in to play every once in a while. But I don't think it's that important. This card's really cool because if your card gets popped, you get just special summon a Metalfoes monster from your deck for free, basically. So yeah, that's really cool. On to the extra deck: 1 Orichalc, 3 Mithrilium, 1 Adamante, and 1 Alkahest. Alkahest is really strong because Alkahest is kind of like Thousand Eyes Restrict for the deck, except that it only works for the defense. The defense. Also, it's a quick effect, unlike Thousand Eyes Restrict, which is not a quick effect as far as I know. The other thing is that actually no, it doesn't. No, against the combined attack and defense or against defense equal to the combination of the attack. So, for example, let's say if you're playing against a rare match and you took a Volflame, this card's defense becomes 2400, which is really cool. So, yeah. I think it's a really powerful card. This card's just a level 5. He's really easy to summon. That's why you have him in here. 3 Methalone. This is a heart and soul fusion of the entire deck. This card is really nutty. It takes just a Pendulum monster and a Metalfoes monster, which is not hard because you have various ways of getting this monster out. Target 2 Metalfoes cards in your graveyard, then on 1 card on the field, then shuffle them into the deck. This is your way of recurring your spell traps. Also, if this card dies, it floats, which is really cool. It special summons a Metalfoes Pendulum monster from your graveyard or face up in the extra deck, which is really, really good. So, and Orichalc. Orichalc is just a big beat stick that when it dies, it pops a card. That's actually really cool. Onto the Xyz, 1 Dracossack, 1 Big Eye, 1 Norito, 1 the Cyber Dragon Infinity Package, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Buguska. So, previously, before you would even attempt to before you playing this deck, you would only realistically run 1 rank 7 because playing rank 7s was that common in the deck. You would only realistically play Big Eye. Some people played Dracossack, but the go-to rank 7 was Big Eye for this deck. But I think because of Astrograph Sorcerer existing, I think having this card at 1, playing this card, is worth it. Because you can have the opportunity to make multiple rank 7s, it leads itself to opening more avenues. This card is obviously insane. Your only real method of summoning this is with Chronograph, though. So don't be alarmed. Trust me, you can't even make this traditionally in Metalfoes anyway, so it's not really that big of an issue. And people run these 2 cards for Cyber Dragon Affinity, so I don't really know why. This is a really strong engine. This engine only got better with Electrumite being introduced. And Tornado Dragon and Buguska are really good cards for obvious reasons. This card you make against Qliphorts if you're playing against Qliphorts. You kind of make this first off. If you go Electrumite into if you go into this card and then you go and you special summon 2 Goldrivers and you make Tornado Dragon, you're probably in a better shape than most people are. So, and you play 2 Electrumite because Electrumite is really, really strong. Ideally, you want to play this card on your on kind of like when you just set your first scale, because this also completes your scales. So it's really cool. You also get the effective added bonus that this card also thins your deck a little bit by drawing a card once per turn. So that's really, really nutty. You can make 2 in 1 turn, but I don't think 2 in 1 turns is that necessary. And actually, you can kind of interchangeably take out like a Mithrilium to play a Proxy Dragon, and it would extend your combos a little bit better. But you know how that is. Side deck: 2 Ash Blossom, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Mind Control, 3 Torrential, 2 Unending Nightmare, and 1 Solemn Judgment and 1 Solemn Warning. So this card is obviously good. I don't have to explain this card, and I don't really have to explain this card. But the reason why I played 3 Mind Control in the side deck and not the main deck is because I don't want clunky cards in my hand. And the reason for that is because this deck runs fluid as all anyway. If I open one of these, or if I open one of these, or any other Metalfoes monster, I'm usually probably in a really good spot. If I open up with this, I'm kind of sad, but that's okay. The deck is really consistent overall, and this card would just decrease the consistency overall. I thought about playing 3 in the main deck, but that just ended up being a little too much, so I decided against it. So 3 Torrential, because again, playing 3 is a little clunky in the main deck. Actually playing any of them is actually clunky in the main deck. I thought about playing 1 and then putting 2 in the side deck, but that didn't work out. So I put them in the 3 in the side deck. Ideally, you kind of just side out the Archfiend Eccentrics, the Performage, Monster Reborn, ideally, cards like that. Also, you can also side out the entire Astrograph or the Astrograph Chronograph's engine and just not play this card, and just play your side deck cards. Unending Nightmares. This is just in case if you're facing against Mirror Match, Pendulum Magicians, Qliphorts, etc. This is a really good card. I also thought about playing Qliphort Genius in this deck, but I didn't think that there isn't enough room for it. So, one of these Solemn cards, I really shouldn't have to explain why these cards are good. Solemn Judgment is really insane. I'm gonna have an entire video talking about Solemn Judgment in the future, but I want to make this card very clear that this card is a very skillful card, and this card is also very skillful for obvious reasons. But I really like this list. It's really fun. Metalfoes is one of my favorite decks of all time. It's not my favorite deck of all time, but it is a really, really fun overall consistent deck, and it's actually still viable. in today's meta. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a comment down in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Just Lance, signing out.